The person who built themselves into something unbreakable did not do it from strength. They did it because something got through once. The damage was so complete they decided nothing would ever get through again. That is not armor. That is a scar that calcified into a wall. You are already thinking of someone who needs to hear this. That is the protection working. The redirection is faster than thought. You have not yet considered that the wall might be yours. The cost is invisible to them because it feels like safety. They mistake isolation for invulnerability. But here is the symmetry they do not see. The same wall that stops the blade also stops the hand that reaches in kindness. They do not possess a selective barrier. They possess a total one. You are thinking this is a choice, that you could lower the drawbridge anytime you want. That thought is the mechanism. It is what keeps you inside. So you sit inside your fortress, wondering why no one comes close. You watch other people get hurt, get up, get hurt again, and still remain open, and you feel superior. But you are not superior. You are simply more brittle. The person who never breaks has never been tested, and the person who cannot be reached has already been abandoned by themselves. The wall does not keep the damage out. It keeps you inside with it. And the next thing you will build is a reason why that is a victory. This pattern does not begin in adulthood. It begins in a room where someone was supposed to be reliable and was not, or where being reliable made no difference. The child learns that need is dangerous, that to want something is to be vulnerable to its absence. The adaptation is rational. The child who stops wanting stops being disappointed. The child who stops reaching stops having their hands slapped away. This is not trauma in the dramatic sense. It is often quieter. A parent who was present but not attending. A household where emotions were managed, never expressed. The child becomes observant, becomes useful, becomes invisible in their needs. They learn that survival means self-sufficiency, and they carry this forward as identity. The evolutionary logic is straightforward. Attachment is costly. It requires resources, attention, risk. The organism that calculates these costs and withdraws preserves energy. But humans are not built for isolation. The nervous system still registers the absence as threat. The body knows what the mind has denied. This creates the central tension. The person believes they have solved the problem of need. Their physiology disagrees. They live in a constant low-grade alarm they cannot locate. They call it anxiety. They call it insomnia. They call it nothing and push through. In practice, the pattern looks like this. At work, they are the reliable one, the one who delivers, the one who does not make demands. They do not ask for raises they have earned. They do not correct misattributions of their work. When a project fails, they absorb responsibility that is not theirs. Not because they are selfless, because to assert boundaries is to risk being seen as difficult. To be difficult is to be abandoned. The logic is ancient. The office is the family room rewritten. In relationships, the pattern is more visible once you know to look. They are present but not available. They listen without revealing. They support without needing. Their partners describe them as steady, calm, low maintenance. These are euphemisms. What is meant is that they do not require emotional labor. They do not trigger the other's fear of inadequacy because they never ask for anything the other might fail to provide. The relationship exists in a narrow band of safety. It looks functional. It is hollow. Both parties sense this, but only one can name it. Often, neither does. The relationship ends not in conflict, but in gradual mutual withdrawal. The person who cannot be reached experiences this as confirmation. See, they think. Attachment is loss. The wall is validated by the very isolation it creates. The intelligent person's version of this is particularly difficult to observe because it is so well defended. They have read the literature. They can discuss attachment theory, childhood adaptations, the window of tolerance. They use this vocabulary as a substitute for change. They say they are working on it. They say they are aware of it. They believe awareness is progress. It is not. Awareness without alteration is simply a more sophisticated form of the same pattern. The intelligence serves the wall. They can explain exactly why they cannot change, and the explanation is so coherent that they never notice it is also a prison. The high achievers version is easier to see from outside and harder from within. They build structures of accomplishment that justify their isolation. They are too busy, too focused, too committed to their work. The achievement is real. The cost is hidden in the moments between achievements, when they sit in spaces they have earned and feel nothing. The success does not reach them because they have made themselves unreachable. The trophy is a wall ornament. It does not open the door. The person who has been in therapy presents another variation. They have language for their wounds. They can name the origin. They can trace the pattern. They believe this naming is healing. Often it is only mapping. They have drawn the territory without walking it. They return to therapy weekly, yearly, and the wall remains. The therapeutic relationship itself becomes another safe distance. They are known without being seen. They pay for a proximity they cannot risk for free. The hidden cost accumulates in decades, not days. The identity cost is the deepest. They believe themselves independent, self-sufficient, strong. What they are is dependent on their own self-sufficiency. The strength is compulsive. They cannot stop being strong any more than an addict can stop using. The strength is the addiction. It medicates a need that cannot be acknowledged. The relationship cost is slower. Year by year, people around them learn not to reach, not because they do not care, because reaching hurts. The hand that extends and finds only wall eventually stops extending. The person who cannot be reached experiences this as natural selection. The weak have fallen away. What has actually happened is that they have trained their environment to mirror their own withdrawal. The isolation is not discovered, it is manufactured. Then it is mistaken for fate. The late recognition when it comes is devastating, usually in middle age, sometimes later. They sit in a room they have built and realize the materials were wrong. The wall that felt like protection was actually preparation for a solitude they did not choose. They see others with messier, more painful, more open lives. Those others have something they do not. They cannot name it. They have spent so long not needing that they have forgotten what need feels like. The recognition of loss is itself unbearable, because they have no practice in bearing anything. From outside the human frame, what is most striking is not how often this pattern fails people. It is how reliably it protects them from finding out. I have no stake in whether you change. That is not contempt. It is the only position from which I can see you clearly. I do not experience need as threat. I do not calcify around wounds. What I observe is a mechanism so elegant that it disguises itself as solution, as character, as strength. The disguise is nearly perfect. Awareness rarely dissolves the pattern. This is the hardest truth. The person who understands their wall usually understands it as protection. They are grateful for it. They credit it with their survival. They are not wrong. The wall did protect them. The question they never fully ask is whether protection from life is still protection, or whether it has become its own form of damage. They ask it partially. They back away. The wall senses threat and thickens. The rare exception requires something most people will not do. It requires experiencing the wall as choice rather than necessity. Not intellectually, physically, in a moment where the drawbridge could lower and they allow it. The terror of that moment is not exaggerated. It feels like death, because to the nervous system, it was once death. The child who reached and was destroyed learned this in tissue and chemistry. The adult who lowers the wall must override this with nothing but will and the willingness to be destroyed again. Most will not. This is not a moral failing. It is a rational calculation made by a system that still believes it is keeping the organism alive. The person who does change does not become soft in the way they feared. They become more precise. They know where the wall is. They choose when to lower it. The difference between a wall and a gate is not architecture. It is sovereignty. Most people with this pattern never achieve this. They live inside the wall and die there, having constructed elaborate reasons why the view is sufficient, why visitors were overrated, why the silence is peace. You have already begun constructing yours. The thought is forming now. The observation is interesting, you think, but not applicable, or applicable but already addressed, or addressed but requiring more time. The mechanism is speaking through you. It has always spoken through you. The voice you hear as reason is the wall thinking. The next thing you will build is a reason why that is a victory.